I'm just hanging out. Oh, God, no! Please! Please, no! You! Bang up!
I just want to tell you people that this Bigfoot exists. I've got evidence that this Bigfoot, this so-called mythical creature that everyone's always talking about, he killed my wife, all right? Absolutely killed her, cold blood.
I'm just hanging out.
So I'm not related to that guy, but kids are idiots and they'll make jokes about that shit. But
I'm surprised kids would even know about something like that.
oh, kids are crafty, man. One time, kids used to make fun of me. My last name, they called me Dykeman. One time, a kid called me Ikey Transvestike, and I had to shake his hand. I was like, "Fuck, man, that's a good joke. I can't. You were thinking about me that much. I couldn't even get upset about it anymore."
All right. So are we live right now?
No, we're not yet.
Oh, okay.
You're just getting. He's just getting his accoutrement on like. Are you working on any movies right now?
Yes.
Can't wait. Did you ever use that thing I sent you? The video of me. I tried to find the movie and.
I'll send you a copy.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I kind of want to see myself. I got a credit for it.
You got a hoodie.
Yeah, I got
a hoodie.
I had a.
Oh, you got an IMDb?
Yeah, I was like, what fucking movie am I in? I forgot about that shit. I was like, wait a minute, I'm in a movie.
Wendigo, The Wrath on Human Garbage. You're in it.
That's sweet. I would love to be in more movies with you.
I'll work. Well, we'll get to that in a second.
All right, let's get into it then. All right, we'll start off. All right, just hanging out episode. We'll call it 31 because I'm pretty sure that's what it's gonna be. Welcome back, Kaiboy the Cowboy, Kyle fucking Hurley, and of course my co-host with the mo-host, Zachariah Hezekiah.
The one, the prophecy foretold, baby. How you doing?
Prophecies. We got a special guest today, man. We're on a bit of a movie track here, man. People making movies, people directing movies, long film, short films. Oh, we're all around, man. We got a special guest today. His name, James Baack.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, I'll let him introduce himself, and then we'll get going and rocking and rolling into it. Will it? So, basically, James, just give us a runaround of, basically what you're doing in with movies, directing, all that stuff, and what you do, basically.
Okay. The new movie we're working on now, the current working title is Carnage of the Night Creatures. This will be our 8th production.
Okay.
The movies I've done before, the first one was 2010. It was The Bloody Rage of Bigfoot. The second was Dracula's Orgy of the Damned.
Oh, yeah, I remember that shit. You showed me that shit.
Dracula's Orgy of the Damned. A third was Werewolf Massacre at Hell's Gate. The fourth was Cult of the Shadow People. And then came The Hideous Bog Monster. Then I did a double feature. It was called the Halloween Double Trouble Horror Show, which had 2 titles, The Witch of Devil's Woods and
so kind of like Grindhouse Death Proof, like the same premise.
It was that type of thing. And then the last feature we came out with was Wendigo: The Wrath on Human Garbage.
I'm in that.
Yes, he is. He's in it.
Short part of a short piece.
In it.
Love to have
short piece. But
love to have him back for another one.
Hell yeah.
I'm working on a script right now. This one, I've had a little bit of trouble with this one because I kind of hit like writer's block. I had a couple ideas, but I'm like, how the hell am I going to pull this off? But at this point, I think I got something pretty good and solid. So, fuck it.
What is the premise? If you want to give us a little
The
gestalt.
premise is going to be there is a germ, like a type of virus, right? And somebody is hired to go to another country to steal this virus. Now, this virus is guarded by a pack of werewolves, all right? So one night, they infiltrate the location of the werewolves. They steal the virus, and as they're escaping, he drops it into a lake where it starts to, the metamorphosis begins and creates this huge, ugly creature who later rises to take people off to their doom.
Okay.
Interesting.
I like him. All the titles for the movies, man. It would have to be like a whole sit down to watch them because the titles are dead on, man.
Well,
especially the orgy one.
Well, I like the thing is, I can see in your play you have a love for '70s cult and horror movie.
Oh yeah,
that is your bread and butter, just from what I've seen, and that's what people didn't get. Like when we were at the BD, when we were at Gary Lane together, people would show me the movies and they'd be like, "Oh, they're kind of goofy and stuff." You don't understand what he's doing. Like you don't get the art of it. That's the problem.
Right.
And I think they're fucking awesome. Like they actually do very well. It's on Tubi now, right? One of them's on Tubi.
Well, actually, I have like 5 of them on Tubi.
Oh my god, you have 5. Last time we talked, you only had like 1 or 2 on there.
I asked our we work with a company out west called Trionic Entertainment, and the person that I work directly with, her name is Jennifer Loomis, and she's been terrific. I asked her, I go, why isn't Dracula's Orgy of the Damned on Tubi? And she says they got back to her and they said they won't do it due to content. So
there's no like tits or nothing in there, right?
Oh yes, there is.
Oh, there's nudity.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the name.
What are we talking? Well, like what are we talking here? What do we see here? We see full bush too.
No, they had their little panties. They kept those on, but they full exposure of their goodies.
The guy dropped dong.
No.
Okay, I was like, okay, maybe
if the guy's dropping dong, it better be big.
Yeah,
there's tits on Tubi.
Agreed, and that's why I'm trying to. I've seen some of the stuff on Tubi. You ever seen a movie called Vampire Lesbos?
No, I have not seen
but
that.
I guess I'm going to see it now.
Or is another good one. It's called Vampire Ecstasy.
When no one's home and I'm by myself.
Vampire Ecstasy, you gotta see it. Or Vampires with a Y. That movie rocks. And if those movies can get on there, I don't know why Dracula's Orgy of the Damned
I have a
is
question
not
for
on.
you: vampire or werewolf? What would you rather be?
Well, werewolf.
Thank you. See,
It makes sense. I mean,
it's way better. And what kind of werewolf? Like, I'm going to pick your brain about werewolf movies because I know a lot about them. Where do you think the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson sits? I think it's the most realistic werewolf movie in the world.
I saw it a long time ago when it first came out.
I also had a crush on
Him and Michelle Pfeiffer was it? Yeah,
It's a good combination.
yeah. It wasn't a bad. I enjoyed it. I mean, where would it sit? In my opinion, the best 3 werewolf movies are The Howling,
Of course.
American Werewolf in London, and then Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers is a good one.
Yeah.
American Werewolf in Paris, the second movie.
It's a comedy.
Where it was comedy horror, but like the way they kind of tied it in, like where the nurse from the first movie had a kid because she was pregnant, and then she became a werewolf and stuff.
Yeah.
But some of the scenes in that movie when I was a little kid scared the fuck out of me.
Really?
But yeah, the American Werewolf in London, when you see that transformation as a 4 or 5 year old, that thing looks real. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And last podcast we talked about with our buddy. Ralph, was that that's where a lot of these older movies really get their beauty from. Is it not? The storyline is a storyline. It is what it is. It's the fact that they made these effects and it looked like it was really happening. The Thing, The Exorcist, all this shit. You believe that chick's head's fucking turning around.
Because it was all practical effects and they didn't rely on CGI.
CGI is
and
killing.
people know CGI when they see it. There's a new one that just came out. It's called Werewolves, and it's all practical effects. So
Where? What was it? What's it on?
no, it just released at the theaters 2 days ago.
which makes sense. I mean, all of them. No one's really doing anything like The Thing or American.
Well, I'm wondering if there's going to be a renaissance with that then, because that's people like Rick Baker. That guy is a genius. He's still. I follow him on Instagram. He always makes cool ass fucking prosthetics and shit still.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't we have that anymore? And he did and it kind of bothered me. He did the new Wolfman movie with Benicio del Toro years ago, and he used CGI, and I was like, God
There was
damn
a
it,
lot of CGI in
God
that
damn
movie.
it, dude! Like that's not your thing.
It's
Like,
probably the cheaper route too.
I thought the
believe it or not, it isn't.
the Wolfman movie I thought it didn't make a heck of a lot of sense to
No.
me because here's my question. Anthony Hopkins plays his father. everybody in the film is British. Why did he have an American accent?
That's a good question.
Why did he not have an English accent?
Well, didn't he get like sent away and he lived in America in the movie and then he came back home? So maybe he didn't. Maybe he lost it. I don't know.
It would have been cool if they had him just speak English or
but-
speak like an Englishman.
Well, Benicio del Toro, he's also like, I mean, he's a good actor, but I don't see him being British. That's the thing.
He always looks like he's hungover. Every
He
time
always looks like he's rough. He
Yeah.
looks rough.
Just a rough night,
Well,
man.
the thing is that he looked very. They did it. They picked the perfect actor that had that runny look that Lon Chaney Jr. had.
Yeah.
That really like weathered old man look, even though he's like 34. You're like, how the fuck do you look like you're 85?
because he was so drunk.
Well, yeah, and also just old. I mean, men look different back then. Like, look at a man that's my age compared to a man back then compared to a man now. We look different. I look way younger than a 32-year-old does from the 50s.
Sure.
Look at Clint Eastwood or all those guys. They fucking look like men when they're in their 20s.
Right.
I looked like a baby when I was 21, dude. I
Yeah.
didn't grow a beard or anything.
Right.
Look at like like Greg Allman, right? Greg and Dwayne Allman from the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
Dwayne Allman died. He was 23 years old. That guy looked like he was 40 years old. Did you see his face? He has like a beard and shit. I'm like, man.
Probably harder lifestyles, man.
Yeah, probably.
With your movies and all that, man, are you leaning more towards than just straight up horror, or are you adding in a little bit of comedy and all that
Well,
stuff?
each one of the movies I do have a lot of comedy aspects to them, and I would love to be able to write really good comedy, but the problem is that's hard.
yeah. Nowadays it is, man, especially to get away with it, especially if you want to be on Tubi or something.
Well, also
Can't have tits on Tubi.
well, also the thing is today, all that everybody's walking on fucking eggshells.
Right.
You can't be funny anymore because people, even though they claim they're offended, they're really not.
They're not. It's just it's a fad to be offended.
It's
on
a fad to be offended.
And I like the comedy aspect. It's like it's easy to get cheap laughs these days. It's like the equivalent of like making a horror movie and just putting a bunch of gore. It's like cheap to scare people that way.
Right.
In a sense.
Yeah.
And so I totally agree that everything's been like faltering and is in danger of being destroyed because of this over intense like offensiveness. Like it's not like if you make a dick joke, I don't really think you should be offended by it. They're fucking hilarious.
No.
Every joke, there's some amazing comedians that would never have survived these days.
Right. I know.
Like a George Carlin or Richard Pryor, as much as they're OG, like people respect them, they wouldn't have made it. Especially George Carlin. That guy hated everything. Like he made fun and talked shit to everyone. He got arrested so many times.
You remember the show Sanford and Son out of the 70s?
Oh, Red Fox, dude, he was brutal.
Yeah, he used to say the N-word on that show.
Yeah.
On a regular basis.
Right.
Yeah.
And people laughed.
Yeah.
And nobody got offended at it.
Who was Archie Bunker and him had a cross episode where literally Archie is like the most racist white guy on TV, and then they become friends in the end.
Yeah.
But it's like hostile as shit throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
That would never happen nowadays.
Everyone's lost the concept of acting. It's just acting. It's the same with comedy. It's just comedy. It's just a joke. It's a joke, man.
Well, I think due to social media, I think a lot of people have just lost their sense of humor.
Yeah.
And everything is, I don't want to get like political or anything, but this whole woke stuff is got to go.
Yeah.
People who claim they're offended with things and how, if you say one thing, like you're racist or you're homophobic and all that garbage. No.
What years did you grow up in, like your formative years?
I mean, when I was a teenager and
Yeah.
such in the 80s.
80s? What year did you graduate high school?
84.
84. So you're not much young. My dad graduated in 79, so you're not that much different age.
Okay.
But so, back then, I mean, it seems that we live in a time where lingo is different. We're the generation ahead of us, of my generation. It's the first time where they have totally, like we all, like from where you grew up and I grew up, the words that we use are very similar. Dude, bro, chillin', all those things have been around for years.
Yeah.
Now we're living in a world where the generation ahead of us is using a totally new lingo that I have never even heard before. You've heard some of these words and stuff, I'm sure, from your kids or maybe
confusing.
like skibbity or riz. These new words that are coming out that never existed when we were, growing up.
I learned one yesterday.
What was it?
Somebody said, I'm hungry. I want to get a glizzy. Like, what the fuck is a glizzy?
It's a hot dog.
I had no idea.
I didn't know either until recently.
Until literally 24 hours ago. I had no, what the hell's a glizzy?
It's because people do it on TikTok. They do these TikTok things where it's like you gift people like roses or whatever, but you can gift people hot dogs. So they call them glizzies. And when you gift it to them, they eat it. But when they eat it, it's a certain type of eating. They go.
So I said, if I was to pull into like a Portillo's and say I want a couple glizzies, they'd know what I'm talking
I
about.
mean,
give
most
you-
of the kids should know. I mean, they're that age.
Portillo's young, man.
You know what?
Some glizzies.
There's a Portillo's right, like about like 20 minutes, like 15 minutes on the road. You go there, ask them, and you can test it out. You don't have to buy anything. Just like, I want 2 glizzies. And when they say okay, just say, I'm good, never mind.
Speaking of hot dogs, I've always wondered this. Why is it that certain people, predominantly in the Chicago area, get all weird if you want to put ketchup on a hot dog?
I don't give a shit because I put ketchup on my hot dogs.
There you and good.
With everything except for fucking relish. I hate relish. Well,
Yeah, I'm not big on that. But you know what? If somebody puts ketchup on a hot dog, who gives a fuck?
It's the end of the world for the Chicago.
Yeah,
people.
some of these people. But I've realized the people who say that you shouldn't put ketchup on a hot dog and get weird are the same type of people who refer to Chicago as Chi-Town.
Right, yeah.
yeah.
It's the same type of
It's
people.
like they take it too seriously. Like they're the kind of person they're like, you ain't gonna beef on my street. It's like, chill the fuck out, man. People that take like their hometown too seriously. Like that's why I'm glad I'm from a suburban town. There's no cuisine that we could ever do that with here because everything's from Chicago or other countries and states.
It is, and it's just who makes it the best.
Yeah,
man.
there's no like you don't have pizza but the Crystal Lake way. That doesn't happen. I don't have to act like an idiot. Yeah, you're not from Sea Lake. You ain't nobody. It's like all right, dude.
well,
like,
Crystal
relax.
Lake, you got, was it Nick's Pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that Dave Portnoy might have been there. I know Dave Portnoy's been to Cary.
Maybe
He's been the
4
guy just
people in
feature
there.
reviews.
It's like they never made a
Marshall.
fucking
Oh,
pizza.
okay.
He's been to Cary. He's been to Carpentersville, the Village. He gave them like a 8.1 or something for their pizzas.
It's pretty good. There used to be a really cool place not far from here in Palatine. It's gone, but certain people might remember. It was called Charlotte's Pizza.
Never heard of it.
Well, the whole area, it's been leveled, but it used to be just this, not a huge place, but they only served 2 pizzas, and they were all the same size. You had cheese and sausage or just cheese, and they had one size.
Said no pepperoni, huh?
They might have had pepperoni.
Special order.
Maybe, but that's it.
I totally okay.
And there was no large, extra large. It was one size, and they used to sell bottles of Leinenkugel. Now, back in the 80s, Leinenkugel was not regarded
Yeah.
the way it is now. So bottles were 80 cents,
Shit.
and they didn't card.
It was good
So I
pizza.
remember-
So you're getting shit
Oh,
house and eating
fuck.
cheese pizza.
I remember being like 19 years old, getting those Mondo pizzas.
How big were they?
They were, maybe like a 16-inch pizza.
Still for
Yeah, and they were like $12. And this place was so cool. I remember the place was not very well lit. It was real kind of dim in there.
It's the best places.
And I remember in the back they had these big dogs, and you'd walk. These dogs would just be barking at you. But man, that
Pizza
place.
place / dog fighting.
But it's also like places like that have character. It kind of like adds to the nuance of the food you're buying.
Yeah.
Like one time my wife and I went and got food. We went to this hole in the wall Italian place in Chicago. You would have never seen it if you didn't look for it. You never would have saw it. Went there. We spent like $50 for everything. We had the best food. Some of the best Italian food I've ever had in my life.
Was it in Chicago?
Oh yeah, it was like right by the Millennium Park. It was like right there.
Oh, okay, because I know there's a real popular place called Freddy's, which is in Berlin.
No, it was a really like Italian name. It was like La ba 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 or something. Like that. I don't know.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, really good
And
place.
blah, 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 blah.
What about Gene and Jude's? You been there?
I'm not a hot dog fan to be honest with you. So I mean,
Never, man. The only place that Chicago that's really grabbed me, but now it's gone, was Susie's. You ever been to Susie's? I can't believe this. It's like a hole in the wall, but it's the best Philly cheesesteaks. I mean, you could ever have. Best Philly.
You ever been to Rico Benny's in the South Side?
Which one?
Rico Benny's.
You guys
no.
keep talking.
Where
I
on the
gotta pee.
south side?
I gotta pee. You
So
guys
it's by Bridgeport, under an underpass by like Midway.
Yeah, I know where Bridgeport is. Oh no.
It's been since 1949, but they have the best. So I used to shout out to my buddy Peter. He showed me this place. His family did. So he this place he would talk about all the time when we were younger. Rick at Benny's. Because his grandmother worked there, and his mom and grandma lived there when she was younger on an apartment that's still there, like a 3-story apartment that's still there. And he would talk about it. He's like, this place is so good. And I guess it was to the point, like, if he went to Rick and Benny's and didn't come back with food for everybody else, people would get pissed. Yeah. And, I love food. I'm a big cuisine guy. My wife has a culinary degree. She's turned me on to so many other foods and, helped develop my palate more. So I'm like, okay, whatever, Yeah. So one day we were smoking. I think we smoked, it was like 420 or something crazy like that. We were getting really high. And he's like, Rick and Benny's would be good about now. And I was like, okay, it's an hour away. Let's make the drive. So we go there. As soon as I bit into that steak sandwich, I knew exactly why his family was crazy about it. And they also have these hot wings that are there. And they're huge wings. You can definitely tell they're full of steroids, but they're still delicious.
Right.
And they give you wings. They put fries on top of them. And then you're supposed to do like this with the wings and then dip it and eat the fries and the juices and shit.
Oh, nice.
And I'm telling you, man, it's some of the best food. I went there for my birthday. It was like a must. I had to go there.
Bridgeport. I know that's where they had the Sacred Rose Festival.
Yeah.
If you're where Phil Lesh was playing.
Yeah.
Cool. You ever been on Division Street? A place called Chiba Hut.
Never heard of it.
I think you'd like Chiba Hut.
What's Chiba Hut?
It's a submarine sandwich place, but all their submarines they're not made like a regular. You're not going to find like an Italian sub or a turkey sub. All their submarine sandwiches are based on weed. Like you can get like the Panama Red, which is the one I particularly like. But it's
Those are like old weed strains. Panama Red, Maui Wowie. Those are like the old school ones.
Yeah, stuff like that, and all this. The sandwiches are delicious. It's on Division
I'll
Street
give it a shot.
in Chicago, Chiba. And then down the street, I forget the name. There's this bakery that they mix their dough with THC. So, yeah.
You hungry and you getting more hungry.
Yeah, it's called something wavy something.
I didn't know about this. I have to check it out.
It's on Division Street in Chicago, right down the street from Chiba Hut. If you're looking for a good submarine place,
That's the place to
Well,
go.
first you go to the other place you talked about, then you go to Chiba Hut to have your sandwich, which you buy from the THC.
There you go. You ate a pizza and a sandwich. You're hungry.
Um,
man.
and it also has a bar in there too.
That's
so it's a
sick.
submarine joint with a bar.
There's a big thing that's coming around now. A lot of these dispensaries have weed bars in them, so you can sit down in lounges and smoke and order. Like you literally go to a menu, order what you want. They'll give you bongs, joints, blunts, everything. You can smoke them right there.
I was in the middle of Michigan last year, driving to a Pine Knob music theater to see Willie Nelson with Bob Weir, and we were directly in the middle of Michigan, and the people I'm with wanted to go to a dispensary, so we pulled in there.
Cheap as fuck out there.
Oh, it is. People go there and then bring it back because
That's what this is from.
yeah.
Or no, that's not this. The weed I have upstairs is from that. You bought this for me.
Yeah, if you go right over, past Michigan City, Indiana, go directly into Michigan. Well, anyway, this dispensary, I walk in, and I thought it was really cool because the walls were decorated with album covers.
I have to quite like that.
Well, then I saw this one album. It was an album called Tumblin' Tumbleweeds by the Sons of the Pioneers. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No.
I've been looking for this album for 25 years. Vinyl. It was available, like you can download it or buy a CD, which I don't dig anymore. But I saw it there on vinyl. I'm like, of all the places. So I go up to the dude. I'm like, man, look, that album you got hanging on your wall as a decoration. I've been looking for it for 25 years. I go, would you sell it to me? He walks over, he takes it off the wall, and says, have a nice day.
Damn,
that
man.
Did it play? Did you play it? Does it work?
Oh, yeah.
That's the greatest thing about dispensaries.
Plays perfectly. Plays perfectly. But the people are with, they gave him good business. They bought
Oh yeah, they bought everything.
$100.
We went there.
It's
We went
the
there.
best, man. You go to the dispensary, you want something, you're like, can I have it, man? They're like, go for it, bro.
And then we went and 2 nights later we saw the Willie Nelson Bob Weir show, which I have never smelled so much weed at any concert.
Well, it's fucking Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson with
He outsmoked Snoop Dogg.
yes, he did. Or yes,
I'll
he has.
outsmoke him.
And
the whites
place
won
was-
again. No,
it
all
was
right,
just
relax.
billowing of smoke. This one girl sitting in front of us the whole night, her head was like in this cloud. And the next day, I was with my son. I go, you know what? Let's go to Detroit. We're half hour away. We're here. So we went in Detroit, and then I saw the tunnel to get into Canada. And I go, hey, we're here. Why not? Let's get into Canada. So we pull in, and they stopped us. They asked us a bunch of questions. You can get into Canada without a passport.
Green card, or
Passport, you don't need it for Canada as long as you have a valid driver's license. So he's like, "Oh, what brings you to Detroit?" And I try to look as innocent as I can. I'm like, "Well, we were here to see a musical concert." And I'm like, "Oh, he's not. I don't want to tell him it's Willie Nelson and Bob Weir."
Yeah, they're gonna be like, get out of your car, sir.
Yeah, get out of the car. But I'd say, hey, we went to see the country show with Willie Nelson. Okay, he let us in. So
there you go. He didn't tell you to, pull over to the left right there.
that's what I was.
got it.
I was real hesitant about telling him which.
Leave your keys on the roof and please get out of your car, sir.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
like it's amazing how sometimes that works out.
It's great, man.
You go to a lot of concerts from what we were talking about briefly, so I envy you because I love going to concerts, seeing live music. I've been really trying to break into the jazz fusion. There's not many jazz fusion scenes out here that I know of, and I'm trying to find real good jazz clubs in the city, but I don't know where to go. I don't know where they're at. I don't know who has them, and that's where I'm going to meet other really good musicians. And it would be lovely to start going to fucking concerts or going to clubs again and seeing live music because once my band that I was in disbanded, you know, I stopped playing live. It sucked. It was fun playing live. I needed that band to end though, so I could, you know, move on to another genre. But like, it was nice to go out and play every other weekend, and then go and see other bands for 3 hours, meet other talents, see the other musicians that are coming out in the area.
So you like the jazz fusion, like Spyro Gyra and Weather Report? And that?
Yeah, Weather Report, Return to Forever. There's even newer guys like Jonathan Scales of the Jonathan Scales Orchestra. He's a steel drum player, but he plays with the jazz fusion music, kind of like Bela Fleck. He plays an instrument that you wouldn't normally see in jazz fusion masterfully.
That's cool.
Yeah, he actually does a song with Bela Fleck. Actually, he has a couple songs with Bela Fleck that he's done. But you know, my favorite drummer, or one of them, his name is Mason Guidry. He plays with him, and this guy's like, there's just some people you meet in any profession, whether it's fighting, whether it's movie directing. For me, it's music that makes you not want to play. You're like, oh fuck, this person's so fucking good. How do I get that good, or how do I do what they do? It kind of makes you question your ability and your want. So I don't know. Like I got turned on to him by my buddy Brian that I was talking about, the Chon guy.
Yeah.
And you know, when you the seeing these guys as well also put in perspective that I need to get out there and play live more. I need to go out there. And
My son's doing a jazz concert as we speak.
What does he play?
Trombone.
Trombone.
He joined the Arlington Heights band, and they have it's a community band, but they also have a jazz band separate.
That's cool.
So he's doing a performance right now, and then last week he did a performance at this club called the Roxy.
Oh, cool.
Which is in.
That's kind of funny. The Roxy.
It's right near Joliet.
The Roxy. I wonder if that's the place where Frank Zappa played. The Roxy.
Oh, Roxy and elsewhere.
Yeah.
No, definitely
that's
not
in California, I think.
Yeah. No.
I love that you know exactly what I was talking about. 'Cause that's one of his best live albums.
Zappa, Mothers, Roxy, and Elsewhere.
The Trouble.
Cheapness was on that album.
Yeah. So is Trouble No More. Trouble Every Day.
Yeah.
That they have that the drum fill in that song. If you ever heard it.
It's been a while since I don't have that on my. I had it years ago on vinyl.
Oh, it's Chester Thompson and Ralph Humphrey together.
Yeah.
They're playing that live together for that brief time they had the double drummers.
Yeah.
And they do this drum fill that brings in that bridges each chorus. That's like, I don't know, it's just such a cool drum. You have to check it out. It's really
Terry Bozzio played drums with Zappa
for probably like 7 years. Yeah. So it was
Ike Willis.
Well, originally he's a guitar player.
Yeah.
Their best band, in my opinion, that they ever had was the band where he had Vinnie Colaiuta, Tommy Mars, Ike Willis. I forgot the guitar player's name. Arthur Burrow and
Steve Vai was with him.
Yeah, that was in the 80s, so towards the end.
You're talking late 70s,
Yeah.
I'm thinking here. Like
that's
Shake Your Booty and Joe's Garage era.
Yeah, that era is the best era that he ever had, from my opinion, in musicians. In terms of that live group, yes, when it was just like 6 or 7 guys, it's probably the best one. They do this live one in, I forgot what country they're in, but they're doing this live one I've watched on YouTube like a million times.
Oh, yeah, where Zappa's got that plaid suit on.
He's playing.
It was in, I want to say it was in Belgium or something.
I don't know if he's wearing a plaid. I can't remember if he's wearing a plaid suit, but they do like Easy Meat and Dancing Fool. They actually do Dancing Fool into Easy Meat. And the musicianship's awesome. Plus, you got like Vinnie Colaiuta is one of my favorite drummers on there, and he's like 22 years old, just fucking tearing it up. And Zappa tended to have younger musicians. Like Chad Wackerman was a drummer he had during the Steve Vai years.
Yeah.
And he was like 19, 20 years old, just out of, fresh out of music school. So, I mean, the musicianship of those guys is just like.
I saw Frank Zappa in 1988 at the Auditorium Theater.
I think Chad Wackerman had probably been his drummer at that time.
Yeah, it was not a bad show. He didn't sing anything really popular, except for My Guitar Wants to Kill Your Mama.
Well, I like that, though, because
these names are just wild.
Yeah.
Man.
I was happy, but the show was real political, and he just played mostly all new stuff. It was still cool seeing him, but
It always repeats, man. Everything's a lot of political stuff now, man. I mean, I went to, what was that concert I went to? I was telling you about it, that woman.
From Stevie Nicks?
Yeah, Stevie Nicks. Went to a Stevie Nicks concert with my girl.
Stevie Nicks was a political show?
Dude, all she talked about was, in between each song was Ukraine. Just Ukraine and Biden and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, man.
You also had a head full of acid.
I was, but still, like, I still realized I was. I went there on S because it's not a show I would go see. I don't mind some of her songs. I don't mind, but I wouldn't pay to go see it. But my girlfriend had tickets. She was like, yo, come with me and my mom. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll take you guys. And it was a good thing because, listen, she speaks peace and all this, like, white witchcraft stuff and all that. All these people were raging. I mean, women were fighting. People were fighting over seats in the upper aisle.
Really?
People were fighting downstairs. They had to stop the show at one point because there was a brawl on the
The
floor.
Stevie Nicks show?
Yeah.
I was pretty amazed by these accusations.
I could see this at
Believe it.
Slayer. Or
I
something.
know. I was like, what is happening here, man? And again, like you said, I'm on a head full of acid, and I'm like, whoa. Like, no more. It was wild. It was crazy. People were coming up to us because they couldn't get their seats right. So, like, people are on ecstasy, and they're just, like, grilling, like, you're in my seat. I was like, get the fuck away from me, man. I'm not in your seat. It was wild.
Where was this? Allstate Arena?
Yeah. Yep.
Formerly the Rosemont Horizon.
Wild, dude.
Old school, yeah. That's where
Rosemont.
that's the old one.
I remember when they were building the Rosemont Horizon and the ceiling collapsed and a guy got killed.
Bummer. R.I.P. Yeah. The only thing is that unless it's jazz fusion guys, there's not many people I want to see. Like, I don't want to see any of the old. Like, I have no desire to see the Stones. I have no desire to see any of those old bands. It's like these guys are so old. Like maybe Stones in the '60s or like '70s, Sticky Fingers era. Love to see them live then. But I'm more of a Beatles fan, anyways. I break it down like this: I'll listen to a couple Stones albums or songs. I'll buy a Beatles album.
Yeah.
I think the Beatles are better than the Stones. I don't know how you feel about that.
I could see it.
That's a very popular argument.
Well, it's a very just the Stones are good, but they're just I don't know. Like, there's just something about their songs that just don't do it for me. I personally think Mick Jagger is the devil kind of. He kind of reminds me. This is the character and everything. But either way, it's just that the Beatles songs were just so much more. There was so much more creativity and love in them and passion in the songs.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that all Mick Jagger was doing was blackface on stage the whole time.
You'd have a lot of people on your side, I feel like, dude. People would take the Beatles over the Stones.
It's been a while since there's been a really strong Rolling Stones album.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're out of their heyday. Now that I don't think they've made an album in years. I don't think they have.
They had that new one that just came out, but I
Jesus.
haven't heard anything on.
I don't know who's playing drums for them because Charlie Watts is dead.
I
mean, anybody can be better than Charlie Watts.
Drums are a dime a dozen, man. I can go up there and drum for them, huh?
For them, yes, probably.
No, dude, I was just talking shit.
For them, yes.
Steve Jordan, I think is the drummer.
Oh, Steve Jordan.
Used to
amazing.
play with the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Speaking of that, I saw the Blues Brothers a few months ago.
With who? Is it John Goodman?
It was Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi.
Jim Belushi, yeah.
It was a strange experience because they played a concert inside the Joliet prison.
Oh, it's like in the show, in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got tickets and they had the stage set up and all this.
And you're with prisoners.
Well, no, it's no longer used as a prison. It's
I didn't know that. I was like,
yeah, no, they didn't. You didn't get.
I thought you were chilling with inmates and shit. I was like, what kind of crazy shit is?
Put on a show for the prisoners,
It
man.
should be free, dude. What the fuck?
Well, no,
Katie to get shanked.
The prison is no longer in operation, but still, they had the stage set up but I couldn't get over it. It was such an eerie feeling because I'm watching the show, okay, but I'm surrounded by these walls that I could just know that the horror that must have taken place inside these walls.
Yeah.
You know?
Some rapes and stuff.
You just horrible. And then to look at them because it's just it's very uneasy.
Yeah.
To see be inside this prison courtyard surrounded by these walls and the barbed wire and stuff like this, watching the Blues Brothers. It was very difficult for me to get into.
I
Yeah.
could see that being spooky, man. I'd be
Kinda
like,
weird.
I don't know if I want to be here right now. That's
You're getting Andrew Dufresne feelings in your head, like fucking from the Shawshank Redemption.
Well, yeah, and then when you walk in, a lot of the prison corridors were open, so you could walk in and see these cells. And I'm looking at some of these cells. I'm like, my God, it's a weird way to get pumped up for a fun show.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I'd be like,
it's
why don't we take some of this stuff down, you know?
What else?
Play
cover
this
it.
in a different theme.
We can go outside right now. We can just go outside in the courtyard and play.
Yeah.
I think and also I'm sure it was a glimpse into how our jail system, the correctional systems of this country isn't designed to rehabilitate you. They're designed to keep you there and institutionalize you and break you mentally. Which, granted, there are some people that deserve that for sure. But you look at a place like Norway or Sweden, and I'm not really for everything that they do, but I will say that you look at their jails. And also look at their success rate of people not being repeat offenders. It's ridiculous. It's unparalleled.
Aren't there prisons almost? I don't want to say the word nice.
Yeah, they're like hotel rooms.
Yeah.
They're a lot nicer than America.
They're designed to make you to get better. If you're a thief, they do things to keep you in. They have you go to school. It's like you live with your parents again. Like they have you on a regiment, you go to school, you do everything from what I've read. Now, how true this is, I don't know. I don't want to 100% say it is, but they have you go to school, they have you learn things, learn trades. So when you do go out back into society, you're not fucking going back to that kind of life because a lot of the people out here that go to that life are the uneducated, and maybe they are very smart, but they never had a chance to live in bad areas, so they pick up these horrible habits and they become thieves, gang members, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like a top of the line gang member, like, head of a gang or something, you're not a stupid guy. You obviously have some wits about you because you can control a bunch of people to listen to you. That's hard to do. Some people can't. Some people are afraid to do a fucking speech, let alone run a gang or something like that. But imagine if that person was in an area where they were in a good area, no stimulation that's negative, where they're just learning about how to become better people, learning about themselves.
Yeah.
So they learn a skill, maybe get excited about life again and realize, hey, this life isn't going to lead me to where I want to be. So when I get out of here, I'm never coming back. People come back. I think that the fucking success rate of people, it's got to be lower than fucking 30% in this state. I bet in this country. I'm sure repeat offenders are probably like 75% of people that go to jail. I'm sure they repeat all the time.
Lifers, man. Lifers are the big thing. They just sit there. I mean, the gangs get you controlled as well. When you go in there, you got to choose your color, basically. Whatever color you're in, most 90% of the time, especially if it's a max security.
Well, they say it's not really gangs. It's mostly just your race.
Yeah.
Like they don't. If you're white, if you're hanging out with blacks, you're gonna get fucked with.
Yeah.
If you're black and you're hanging out with whites, you're gonna get fucked with.
Yeah.
It's very like broken. They don't give a shit about gangs though, because most of these gangs, if you're like a black guy's not gonna. I don't think a black guy's gonna be a Latin king.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're a Latino guy, obviously all Latinos are gonna hang out with. Probably are gonna be Latin kings if they're gang members. Just like if you're a fucking white guy, you're not gonna be a black disciple or a gangster disciple because those are all black people.
It's no good. It's no good, man. Well, all right, let's bounce back. I'm going to bounce back to the movie thing. Have you?
I'm gonna go check on
You been all good, all good. Have you been in any film festivals? You been in any film festivals? Put any of your movies in there or
No.
no?
That's by choice. I don't. I know a few people who do the independent filmmaking, and they'll set up tables and stuff like that at these horror film fests, and I don't know if you're really going to get a lot of recognition that way because people aren't going to buy something that they don't know what it is.
Okay, all right, yeah,
Especially if you're going to be charging like $20 a pop for a DVD.
yeah.
So I like to advertise more online.
Yeah.
I've attended these horror shows and stuff like that, but being like a guest, some people have said, "Why don't you set up a table and stuff?" At least I'm not at that point yet.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
I don't see the need for it at this point. I'd rather advertise in different ways.
I got you. All right, with these movies you're directing and all that, because you're directing these movies, correct?
Yep.
Right. How are you finding your talent? How are you going about talent and whatnot and finding?
Well, I have my
people?
core actors.
Okay, yeah.
Claire Fluff Llewellyn.
Okay.
Christopher Kaler, Steve Galida, my son Andrew, Herbie Savage, Wendy Pearson, Tina Bovin. Those are my and Philip Zeschena.
Okay.
And those are my core actors. I got them. I'm using them constantly.
I got you
so I know who's good at what. Tina is phenomenal. She's really great. Claire Fluff Llewellyn is good. Christopher Kaler is extremely talented. He's a really good editor too. But yeah, a lot of times I will do like a search out for anybody who'd be interested in trying out for a part, and a lot of the stuff that I will have them come in. It's not really like an official audition. We'll see how it goes, and if it works, we'll just.
You got a call or you won't, man. So
yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, at least you got a set, actors, set actors.
Yeah, I do have my core actors.
Oh, you're working whatnot
same
with.
Movies, all the movies, same crew.
Yeah, that's what's like the farthest you've gone. Like, I mean, where are you usually shooting at?
Well, mostly in Illinois.
Okay.
We've shot up in Michigan, Wisconsin, Missouri, mostly in the Midwest. However, I do have one actor, Tim Pollard. He's in England, and he'll shoot scenes in England and then send the scenes over for us to splice in.
All right.
He's a really, really cool guy.
Yeah.
He plays Robin Hood as his job.
Okay.
He plays Robin Hood at Nottingham Castle.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah. It's really cool. He gets invited to a lot of royal events and that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he comes in his Robin Hood outfit.
with the type of movies you're shooting, man, that's awesome if he can send you stuff. Because especially because overseas, I mean, they have a lot more castle scenery and different shit like that.
Yeah,
you know,
and he's in fact he shot a couple scenes that they used in The Dark Knight for Bruce Wayne's mansion.
Yeah.
He lives right near there. It's in England.
Shit.
And it was kind of funny. We got a big laugh out of this. He was narrating Dracula's Orgy of the Damned, and he, being in, he lives in England, so he's got a thick
Right.
English accent.
Goes right
this
with
guy
it.
writes this review saying, "Man, this guy sucks with his fake British accent." So, and then the thing is, he got such a kick out of that, and then it for somehow that guy's comments made it into a local newspaper called the Bostonian, which is in where is he in Nottingham, England, and there was a write-up in the newspaper, and they showed my movie, and they were making fun of how our own Robin Hood has been accused of faking a British accent.
Thanks for the publicity, man.
Yeah. Oh no, but it was totally it was really cool.
That's awesome. I love that, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. What would you say, like, your number one pick, the number one movie you've directed, like, you think is your best piece of work right now?
My best one that I think that I've done was Cult of the Shadow People.
Okay.
That was the best, in my opinion, my best work. My most popular one is Werewolf Massacre at Hell's Gate.
That makes sense.
That is my most popular.
Werewolves, man. People love the werewolves.
I love the werewolf.
Werewolf Massacre at Hell's Gate, and another one, The Hideous Bog Monster. Those two were successful. The one I think that looks the great and I think it did the best job as Cult of the Shadow People was a flop.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody was interested.
Was it more just horror? Was it like cosmic horror or like?
It was about a cult. It was it was horror.
Yeah.
But more of a psychological thing.
Oh, okay. Maybe some people just didn't get it.
Nobody cared about that one. It
They
went
wanted
nowhere.
quich violence. We
went
want
nowhere.
werewolves, man.
But the
Where's
werewolf.
the vampire orgy, James? This is not what I wanted. Sitting here like this.
Well, I can send you a copy if you want to.
Oh yeah, no, we'll post. I'm gonna post.
Or do you
these
show nudity on this show?
Yeah, we're gonna give it a whirl.
All right.
I'll put it up for.
It's a scene where Dracula has a new recruit,
All right.
one of his brides, and he's going to transform her into the world.
What are we seeing here? Boobs?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Lots of them.
so did you have a specific? This is gonna sound very obtuse, but did you have like a specific look you were looking for tits? Like, really, I want big tits. That's all I want.
Oh, we got big ones. Yeah, real big
You
ones.
didn't care if they had good acting skills. Or did you say good acting must have?
I
Big
didn't
tits?
give a damn. They don't say a word. I'm just shut up and take your clothes off.
That is fucking crazy.
And the funny
What did you have to pay him?
$50.
Wow.
Oh, much.
Well, here's the
Show
deal.
us your tits.
Here's $50. Come on. And then we had him sign release forms.
Yeah.
And then my guy, I make the movies with Steve Galliano. He was real nervous about that, about the scene. He's like, "What happens if they come after us legally?" I'm like, "Dude, for what?
Right.
What, come after what? For they saw the camera, they signed the release forms."
Right.
But it was funny where we shot it. They told us to meet, for me and Steve, bring our cameras and lights and stuff to a location in Chicago. It's called the Continuum. So they gave us the address and we parked, and here it is, and we looked at the Continuum, and it was this really long stairs going up to the top. So we walk up to the stairs, and on the door painted black, there was like a satanic pentagram. Ooh. I'm like, oh shit.
Like, fuck, man.
Well, what are we getting into? So I'm like, hello, and they open up and walk in. We walk in, and I remember there was a big cage in the middle of the room. Then all sorts of weird shit like dildos and greasy stuff.
So you had a Diddy party.
Well, I don't know.
He turned around. He said, "We might need to sign some more stuff."
We might need to sign another
There's all
NDA.
these dildos and whips and chains and cages. I'm like, what the fuck?
What's going on here?
So I go to Steve. I go, don't touch anything.
Yeah, dude,
Don't
sticky.
You got hand sanitizer?
I've known Steve my whole life. We knew each other from church Sunday school. And so we walk in, and then the girls come out, and then the guy, Ron Fitzgerald, who played Dracula, he's a Chicago, he doesn't like to use the word magician. He's a Gothic illusionist.
All right.
He's
What the fuck?
We'll go with it.
he's pretty good. He does a lot of shows locally. Anyway, I chose him to play my Dracula, and these girls came out, and
How'd you find him? The chick.
it was through him, through Ron Fitzgerald. He knew these girls. And, and I look at him. I'm like, "Are you okay taking your clothes off?" They're like, "Yeah, you got $50.
You want us to grab one of these greasy dildos?
Yeah, you're like, wait, not that kind of movie. You're like, oh, okay.
Relax.
So,
yeah.
So we shot the scene, and then they're like, I go, just ravage Dracula. So me and Steve are holding our cameras, and he's just like, and I'm like, just keep filming. Just
How crazy does it get?
Huh?
How crazy did they get?
The one was sucking on the other girl's tits and when like rubbing blood all over him and stuff like this. Yeah.
There we go.
Pentagrams there too. It's kind of satanic.
No, there was
kinda
no.
hot.
There was no.
There's a hotness in satanic shit. You know, there's a real sexiness in there.
Dracula orgy is a vampire orgy. You know, what do you expect?
Dracula's not a Satanist, though, is he?
No, I wouldn't say so. Well, if you want to say that, I'd say he'd be an anti-hero to God because he originally. It depends what you believe, but if you go to the Bram Stoker's Dracula, he's a fighter for God in the beginning, before his girl kills herself in the church.
Because it was based on Vlad Tepes.
Yeah. So I mean, like, if he was, I guess at one point he was, but I guess at the end, I don't think he was a Satanist. I think he just didn't believe in God.
Now the Hammer films. I don't know if you're familiar with the Hammer films. I love the Hammer films.
What are the Hammer films?
The Hammer films was a company based out of England. They kind of like from the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. I guess they had all the rights to do all the classic monsters. They did Mummy, Frankenstein, Dracula.
Well, they just remade them.
Not really. There was no remakes. The first one, Horror of Dracula, was based on Bram Stoker's Dracula, loosely based on it. Christopher Lee always played Dracula.
Yeah.
And Peter Cushing always played Van Helsing.
Yes.
And then Peter Cushing in the Frankenstein films, they never really had Frankenstein's monster. They were about Dr. Frankenstein and how he's up to no good, doing all these type of experiments. I'm a huge fan of those. A lot of people think they're boring.
No. There's a beauty in
I
them.
think they're. Terrence Fisher was the director for a lot of them, and I thought he was brilliant.
Or some of those early Italian horror movies. You ever watch?
Oh, like
those?
the werewolf movies with
or
Paul Naschy?
Or like the zombie movies, like Zombie, the Italian one from the 70s.
Oh, I eat your skin and I drink your blood?
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
Like those movies are fucking crazy for that era.
yeah.
Like they're way scarier than anything America was pumping out at that time.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there was this movie, a Japanese film, Starman. I
What's
don't know
that
if you've ever
about?
heard of it.
No.
The weirdest shit you've ever
Those
seen.
Asians don't fuck around either
I
with
was
their
gonna say
movies.
Japanese, the Koreans, you know,
They
they've been
fucking
really
scary-ass
pumping out.
movies.
They've been
Scary-ass
pumping out some weird shit.
Well, the Japanese have they love to see like school girls getting raped by tentacles.
Jesus.
If you ever
That,
see
that what
Monster
Yeah.
porn.
thing?
with the Japanese, you ever seen like X-rated anime?
No, I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen
I
that.
have.
I know what it is, but I've never seen hentai.
Yeah, it's something to behold.
Yeah.
It's just, watch
It's
like,
crazy.
It's-
You're like, what did I find, man?
It's against the law in Japan to show actual genitalia. So what they'll do is they'll substitute a man's appendage and make it like an alien tentacle. And it's just
Oh, so that's okay. That's
but it's weird.
that's very weird. I don't want to
Watching
watch.
all holes, man.
I don't watch
Ears,
it.
nose.
Oh yeah.
It's like, no.
I don't know about all that.
There was this one called Venus 5. The movie was weird but hilarious. This cat. It was this cat, and he had these 5 female freedom fighters with him, and it was just really funny how the bad person was trying to torture this cat. They had a string. They had a string tied to his dick, and then the string was attached to the trigger of a gun pointing straight at him, and he had to stay non-erect. So they have this beautiful woman in front of him going like this, and he's sitting there and he's watching. He's like, I can't look, but I have to. And he's like going like this, and the trigger is pulling back. I thought that was brilliant.
That's fucking crazy.
That's horror, man.
Anyways, I guess I got some
no.
hentai to watch then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But like he was saying, the Koreans, like if you ever seen like Train to Busan, the zombie.
Oh, yeah,
That's a great zombie movie.
It is.
There's another one. It's about, I forgot what it's called, but it's like this kid comes back home to live at his parents' condo, and like zombies come and wipe out everybody, and it's him in his condo by himself, and it's him trying to survive in this condo without having to deal with all these fucking weird ass fucking zombies. And then he finds that the building across at his same level is a chick who's still alive too. So they start communicating with he like gets like, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, a wire to her. And he throws like things to her like food, and she sends him stuff, and they send each other a walkie-talkie and start talking and everything. And then they eventually like meet.
And the only reason he gets into trouble is because he's trying to get to the girl, man.
He was totally fine, and then he
fine.
fucked up. And they started coming up. He was like in a very high part of the building, so they started coming upstairs. But he started dicking around trying to find him, and then they found out that he was up there when he I think he dropped something and it fell on the ground or something
like that. Yeah,
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, but
the train one, yeah, I've seen that.
Train to Busan was really good. They did real good with that, the zombies and all that, because it's all about running zombies now. You got to sprint. You know, they got away with it with Walking Dead just because the people were so fucking barbaric. Right. But other than that,
the people were worse than the zombies were just being zombies. Like the people were just brutal in that show. I never really watched it, but I've seen highlights of like Negan and all those guys, the worst guys. Like, why didn't someone kill him? Like, I don't know why the fuck he's walking around with a fucking baseball bat with nails in it, like a fucking
Don't you think
psycho.
zombie stuff is kind of
Played out
a little passé at this point.
At this point, same with supernatural shit. Mostly like a lot of the demonic stuff.
And Bigfoot is becoming pretty passé.
I haven't.
There's a hell of a lot of Bigfoot movies, and I understand why.
There's not good ones though.
Right, but that's what's so cool about Bigfoot movies. They all suck. So that's what gives it that little bit of magic.
What you're kind of expecting too. I mean, you think about Bigfoot. If they can get a Bigfoot movie right, that would be wild, man. Because every time you see a Bigfoot movie, you're like, all right, we're ready for this, man.
Well, there are a few decent ones.
Well, it's like when I watch
Sunset, which that was cool.
Well, I'll have to watch them because like I remember I used to watch Monster Quest all the time on History Channel. Remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like invested in it, and then one day I just realized because every time they do, they at the beginning, let's say they're looking at werewolves or Bigfoot, we found a hair. At the end of it, it was a dog. Fuck! I watched this whole fucking show to
get you all the way to the end.
But I'm the asshole, really, because if they really fucking before this show came out, if they fucking found proof of werewolves or Bigfoot, it would already be in the mainstream. It wouldn't just be on this fucking show. I'm the asshole for falling for it.
There was that show called Finding Bigfoot. You remember?
Yeah, that was old.
And it's in syndication.
They
should rename it Never Found Bigfoot.
That's what really killed the whole Bigfoot. Is
Finding nothing.
Having different, like it's same with like Ghost Hunters. They keep having all these different shows that off branch from Ghost Hunters and Bigfoot. We found Bigfoot, and it's like they get to the end, and they're like, "What's that noise?"
I have a question
It's
about
like,
ghosts.
what was that noise, man?
What about ghosts?
I got a question about ghosts, and I'll get back to Bigfoot because I love talking.
There's
Bigfoot.
like a ghost that pops out. What questions you got?
Okay.
This is what?
Nothing. It was a joke.
This is what I think about ghosts. Okay, if there is a ghost, it is the spirit of somebody who's passed. Is that not correct? So is it like some sort of? Is it like a mist? Is it some sort of electricity? Is protons in the air? What is it?
I that's a good question. I don't
Well,
really.
here's my thought on that. If that is the case, it would have no weight, no substance.
Yeah.
Then why is it that when people see ghosts, they'll see it walking on the floor, walking across a field? If it has no weight, why then would it subscribe to Earth's gravitational force? Why would it walk on the ground if it has no weight?
Well, that's why you got to start asking questions about what is ghosts, because there's also other theories that ghosts are just basically in a different dimension. There's different. So if you believe in any dimensional theories, interdimensional. Supposedly there's a 7-dimensional theory. I think it's a 7 or 11-dimensional theory.
But if it's in another dimension, how would we be able to see it?
Right, but that's the same thing with, say, Bigfoot and all them, with cryptids, because they're considered cryptids, right? So they think also that Bigfoot, skinwalkers, Wendigos, all that stuff is basically Wendigos, interdimensional beasts or something that may have passed on, went to that lower dimension, but are slipping through the cracks of our dimension and now are able to walk and we're able to see, and sometimes they break that barrier.
I think also, if let's say, I'll throw in the religious standpoint. Let's say, like, I think it could be a form of, like, purgatory, maybe. Like, the people that aren't quite where they need to be, like they're dead, but they're not in heaven or hell. They're just kind of, waiting it out, I guess you could say. I think those are the people that we see walking around. That they're not here, they're not there. They're just kind of in between, waiting for their turn, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe that there is a celestial world that we don't know about, whether it's God or whatever we've been told. I don't know.
Oh yeah, nobody knows.
Well, there's two stories that always blow my mind. So
There's some people that know. They're just hiding it.
well, yeah, I'm sure there are people
government.
that control everything. But my mom died, and when I was a little kid, I was very afraid of death. Now, don't care. Seen a lot of it. When I was a CNA, held a lot of dead people's hands. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But when I was young, I was afraid of it. And Led Zeppelin was my favorite band growing up. Still one of my has a special place in my heart these days. Hence why I started playing drums with John Bonham in the originally.
Okay.
And she told me that when she died, Kashmir would play for me to let me know, in an immediate time, to let me know everything was okay. Like, there's life. I'm good. It's okay. And when I found he was there when I found out my mom died. We actually worked together. He was at my job that day.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad came to pick me up because he just felt bad. He didn't want me to, be alone. So he grabbed me, picked me up, and my dad turned on the radio, and the first song that came on was Kashmir.
Oh wow.
Twice came on that. And
Really?
it was on 97.1 and 97.9.
That's cool.
It finished on one, and my dad switched to another because he didn't want to hear commercials, and then it came on after the commercial of the next one. So, and then there's another one that's a little long-winded. Bear with me, but one of my dad has two best friends in his life. He had my Uncle Ben, who's been his friend since they were 9 years old. And then as my Uncle Mike, who had passed away, I think almost 10 years ago, 8 years ago now. And they were best friends their whole entire lives. And when they were 18, 17 years old, and I'm sure you can relate to this, they would drive to Wisconsin to drink because it was legal to drink at 18 then.
Yeah.
And in between Wisconsin and Illinois, there was I might be butchering the story, but I believe there was a diner they used to go to, and there's a waitress there with huge knockers, very much like your vampire movie. And she went to go bend over to get something, and my dad saw them, and my dad said, "Hey, did you see that?" And my dad's friend said, "Sorry, I missed it." And for years, that was a personal joke between them. They would always say it, and no one had any idea what it meant.
Right.
And they're at the eulogy, and everybody's quieting down the talk, and his brother got up stage to talk about, his brother's life and everything. And my dad's next to a guy, and the guy's phone goes off, and it's, "Sorry, I missed it. Sorry, I missed it." It was the fucking ringtone.
Really?
My dad walked out, and he had goosebumps because I think that was my dad's friend being like, "Hey, I'm good, man," because no one knew about that joke besides him and him. It was their own thing. So those two instances, I don't know what it is, but there's something out there beyond this life.
There's an interesting story similar to this. When my brother before my brother had passed.
How did your brother pass? I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. He died about 8 years ago, 8 years ago. Anyway, he was married to this woman, and her dad, his name was Yoshka, and we would visit them, and Yoshka was liked my daughter. He was always very kind to my young daughter, and he liked her, and she liked him.
Yoshka, what kind of name is that? It's Polish?
It's not German. I think,
Austrian?
yes, yeah. And I remember he got ill, and I remember it was Christmas Eve, and I was taking my daughter home. We went to my sister-in-law's, and I was taking her home because it was getting late. And we walked out of that car. I pulled into our driveway, and all of a sudden, I got this big smell of a floral smell, smelling incense, out of nowhere. And then my daughter Bianca looked at me and said, "Yoshka died." And he did. And she knew. She just looked at me and said, "Yoshka died." And I thought that was weird. And then same person, my brother and his wife had told me that after Yoshka had passed, they were taking a lot of his stuff, months later, and just, donating it or whatever, a lot of his belongings and stuff like that. And they had put some of his belongings, it was on the driveway waiting for a pickup. And when they went outside, it was snowing, and they saw two of his footprints right next to the pile of stuff with no path of shoes coming up to this pile. They were just right next to that. And then the final thing was his car just started on fire. There was a fire coming from underneath the engine. They called the fire department. They came out, put it out, and That was it.
Never again.
Yeah, that was it. But I thought it was freaky when my daughter looked at me and said Yoshika died, and at the time she was probably like 6.
I haven't felt anything like when my mom passed away. I haven't had anything since that issue.
Yeah.
That thing happened with Kashmir.
Yeah.
But there's been things that have happened when I've been very, very down since then, because it's been 11 years since she passed away, and just certain breaks, certain things that happened, certain intuitions that I felt that I just don't think I felt on my own. I think it was her. She never got to meet my brother's kid. She never got to meet my child, obviously. So that's very sad, because she would have loved being a grandma. But she had so many personal demons towards the end of her life. I mean, she was a 138 IQ, member of Mensa, actually. I think it was like 138 or 140. I think it was like 130. I don't think she was close to 150. But this is a woman that could have been the fucking president of the United States. She was a brilliant woman, but she just had drug problems. She grew up beautiful in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So she was a nurse, so she hung out with all the doctors, partying with them. Yeah. And it just became a problem. And slowly, for 40 years, my mother was a fucking drug addict.
Keep talking.
And when she finally passed away, my mom and I were very similar. I was one of the only people in the world besides my wife that I could have talked to for hours and hours and hours, and no problem. She made things pretty difficult for me towards the end of her life, but there's just that moment with Kashmir, and then there's just certain things that have happened that have lined up in the right ways where I didn't think I was going to make it out of it, and it was there, and it doesn't make any more. The things that went down, I felt like she played a part in me succeeding. So I think that's a real thing. Now, you said your brother passed away. What took him, if you don't mind me asking?
No. Him and his wife had moved out to California. They lived here in this area. And then they moved to a town called Yorba Linda, California.
I know Yorba Linda. Adrian Young, the drummer from No Doubt's from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, right outside of Los Angeles. And one night, I guess what happened was my brother was barbecuing in back, and he was going to take the dog for a walk. So he took the dog for a walk, and they ended up by a busy street. The dog somehow got loose and ran out into the middle of the busy street. Well, my brother chased after it, and boom, he got hit. He got creamed. So he had survived that, but he was paralyzed from the chest down for the next 15 years.
Jesus Christ.
So at first he was in a wheelchair. He always had a good attitude. He wasn't bitter about it. But he was in a wheelchair. But then on the last year and a half is where he really started to go down, and then that was it.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's brutal. See, my mom, she died she died in her sleep, but I think she just ended up killing herself because she was just kind of done with life, because all her shit was packed up in Crystal Lake. You know that you probably passed it, the motel that's right by the old McDonald's, the Crystal Lake Motel. Okay. She was there when she died. She died in room 208. Oh. She was dead for a week before anybody had found her, because her and I got in a fight and we hadn't talked. Oh. And I knew something was wrong, and I was going to see her that Friday. We found out that we were at work together. I was expediting. I'll never forget that. And I got this phone call, probably 10 missed phone calls. I'm like, who the fuck is calling me right now? Anybody that I care about or I would talk to, like him all the time. Yeah. I'm working with them right now, Yeah. So my parents are not going to bother me. So they end up, I end up calling them, and it's the Crystal Lake coroner, and it was Crystal Lake police. And I was like, oh, fuck, what did I get in trouble with, or who's in trouble? What did I do? And they're like, we got the coroner here. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, well, your mother, she's passed away. And it was just like white noise. I was like, what the fuck? It was like, boo, everything just shut up right there. And I started crying. I walked outside, told him what was going on. Him and a couple of my buddies came outside. Everybody else, I fucking hated that place. The only thing that's good about that place is the girls that worked there. Mm-hmm. Years later, I ended up meeting my wife because of her, because they were friends. So that was the only thing that's good. But everybody tried to act they were cool with me. They were so mean to me there, and they all tried to come out here and give me hugs. And I was like, the fuck away from me. Like, he and about two of our other buddies that worked there were the only ones I wanted to see because they were my friends. Yeah. And when they found all her stuff, it was all packed up. All of her shit was packed up in the room. So he was like, it looked like she was going to leave or something. And I was like, So I think that she just kind of offed herself and was just kind of done. She hadn't talked to my brother in, at the time, 10 or 11 years. So she was estranged from him. Yeah. Her and I were okay, but she wasn't getting out of the situation. And her drug habit was so bad at that point that I didn't see her getting better. And I think her trying to get better would have killed her. But the ruling was that she fell asleep. Her potassium bottomed out while she was sleeping. She died of a heart attack because there was no circulation for the potassium. Now, my friend Amanda, She works as an EMT for and well, she's a head manager now for what's that? Is it EMS or is it no? It's what are the it's like an ambulance company. I always forget which one it is. It's one of the bigger ones.
Right.
And well, she did a case study, and the case study ended up being my mother
Oh.
randomly,
Yeah.
and there was like foul play that they might have suspected. I never saw the pictures of my mother after she passed away. My parents, myself, and my dad did.
Yeah.
My dad was like, "I wish I never would have saw those pictures, and I wish I could remember your mom in a better way, but I don't because of that picture. So I'm glad you never saw it."
Yeah.
And the only reason why they could recognize her was because of her hair. My hair and her hair are very similar. So that's
So
only
they said the same thing about my dad.
what happened with your dad.
It's funny you mentioned about getting a call like this. There's this guy I know. His name's Ed Werner. There was 3 times he called. I mean, I've talked to him more than 3 times, but 3 specific calls. He called me. I was 12 years old. It was 1979. I had just got home from school, and he calls me. He's like, Jamie. I'm like, what? He goes, did you see an airplane crashed in Elk Grove Village? I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, an airplane crashed in Elk Grove. So I went outside and I climbed the tree and I got on my roof and I saw from the distance all this black smoke billowing into the air. So I got on my bike and I started riding toward it. I didn't think it was that far, but it turned out it was. It was right by O'Hare.
Oh God, that's a drive.
It was the Flight 191 crash.
Was your dad on that flight?
No. But it would turn out it's like to this date the worst air crash in U.S. history.
I didn't know.
And
that.
I was right there. I was in the smoke and with the flames and all that stuff. He called me on that. Then he called me in 1986. Did you see what happened to the space shuttle? It blew up.
Oh, the Challenger.
Yeah.
Some people say that's a conspiracy and no one ever died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was all. Yeah, no, there's like people that they found
How
like.
could they survive that?
Not to survive that. There's no one ever on there. It was a hoax. That I don't know why they did it, but like it was like another reasoning for them to be like, we can't go to the moon because these things happen. No, like they found like people that look exactly like these people that were on Challenger. Like,
Yeah,
but they
not
say
so sure about that.
they also say that there's 1 in 7. There's like 7 people that look exactly like you. There's 7 people in the world that look the same. So maybe that's what's going on there.
I've been told I look like the actor William Peterson. He used to be on a show called CSI.
Oh hell yeah, I could see that.
A lot of people, in fact, twice in my life, people came up to me, dude, are you that guy on CSI? So twice in my life.
The best movie.
Said I sure am.
No, he's one of the best. The best movie he ever did was Fear with Mark Wahlberg, where you see a side of Mark Wahlberg you never see in any other movie, where he's like the crazy boyfriend.
Oh.
You ever seen that movie?
I never.
Oh, if you have a chance, it's kind of a sleeper film. So the movie is with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon, and that guy from CSI. That guy from CSI plays her dad,
Okay.
and he's like an architect for a big company, makes a shit ton of money. I don't recall exactly what state they're in, but they're in like a upscale area because they're rich. And then Reese Witherspoon plays his daughter, who's like the 17-year-old hot little blondie, and she's kind of like girl next door. I think she actually used to live with her mother, and that's why she lives with her dad now. And Mark Wahlberg is like 21, 22, and he plays like it's one of his first movies after Boogie Nights.
I love Boogie.
Boogie Nights is one of the best movies
It was
ever.
great.
It's
I
a
didn't
great
watch
movie.
that until later on,
I
like
love
probably
that
around my
movie.
20s.
And I know that Mark Wahlberg doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
And all the actors are in it. And Philip Seymour Hoffman, William Chase Macy, Juliette Lewis.
Burt Reynolds does a great performance, and he hated that movie too.
Heather Graham's great in that movie.
Yeah, the whole film it's a great movie.
Chioda, Don Chioda. Don Chioda's in that movie. Black guy. He plays.
Oh,
the-
yeah,
they
yeah,
just denied
right.
Because he's a porn star, they won't give him the bank loan.
Right, yeah.
And they had that scene in the donut shop. He steals the
Oh, it
money.
was like, what is he gonna do? And he
Yeah, and
does it.
fucking, I'm totally for him. It was bullshit, but
Yeah,
he in this movie he plays like this psycho boyfriend who like loses it. Like she has a best friend dude. He doesn't like that. And he like beats the shit out of the dude, and she like leaves him. He gets like in the movie the father kills him, but it's like he gets crazy. Like this unbelievable type shit happened in this movie. Like totally like the worst nightmare boyfriend. Like that girl. Is never going to date anybody ever again because of this situation. It was that bad. Alyssa Milano's in the movie. She plays her best friend, who's a huge whore, who introduces them to each other. I can't think of anybody else big name wise, but it was Mark Wahlberg, Reese Witherspoon, Melissa, whatever the lady I just said, Alyssa Milano, and then the guy from CSI.
I had a crush on Reese Witherspoon many
In
years
this movie, you will. There's a scene where he fingers her on a fucking roller coaster, and you're kind of like, oh, it's nice, you know.
Well, she was. I had a crush on her.
I would want Mark Wahlberg to finger me on a roller coaster. He's hot. He's fresh out of the Calvin Klein, so he's like ripped and hot.
Do
You
you
know.
know that Mark Wahlberg owns a Chevrolet dealership in Ohio?
Yes, he also owns a burger place.
Yeah, he owns a bunch.
No, that's his brother.
You know, he's part of owner too.
Oh, he is.
What do you think gave him the money for it?
I remember Mark Wahlberg Chevrolet in Ohio. You know, it's his place, and I remember I phone shopped them, their BDC,
Yeah.
and they were awful.
Oh, I'm sure.
They didn't get my number, my name, no.
They say, "How's your mother?" How's your mother?
Yeah, I shopped them, like asking if they had like this particular. No, that's no longer in stock. Okay, and I'm waiting. Nothing. Thanks. Bye.
Usually doesn't work out too well when celebrities do that shit.
Yeah, I know, because you don't know what the fuck's he know about Chevrolet dealerships. You know, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, what does he know about?
I'll invest.
I
and
can't
that's
see him
it.
doing a Saturday morning meeting.
No way.
Yeah, but because like I just feel like he'll just slip into the Marky Mark Boston days, and he'll just have a Boston accent. I'll be like, this is ridiculous. I can't handle it. But I actually like a lot of movies he's in, surprisingly, because he's just the same person.
I always liked him.
I think he's a solid actor. Boogie Nights, he does for a debut film that is pretty good. Like, I would say his
I
acting's
thought
on
he
point.
did a great job, and I'm crazy about that movie.
Well, I love the Wonder that whole scene with who's the guy that plays the. It's off the Wonderland Murders. It's the you know the Wonderland Murders with John Holmes and shit. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what that's based off. Is that whole scene? That is probably one of the best scenes ever. Like, and the people don't like. You're a director, and I think I probably should have done something with film because I have this. I would assume you probably have the same thing where like I study the whole nuance of a scene. It's not just the lines or what the characters look like. It's everything that's going on because in that scene you can feel the build up with them. It's like you feel like you're. I think they're on meth in the movie.
Yeah.
You feel them like you feel like you're on meth because you had that fucking Asian kid throwing the crack things. You have the music playing in the background. You have the friend who's like hostile, who's like, can we get this robbery going? You know, and they're all geeked out, and you can feel the fear they have, and it just keeps building up and building up, and then they have Motorin playing in the background. So it's like this like 1980s softcore song playing while this guy's throwing fucking
Sister Christian by Night Ranger.
Yeah, and you have the kid throwing firecrackers, and then this dude who just thinks that these guys are just buying some shit, or they're selling some shit to him, and they're just gonna have fun. He has no idea they're trying to rob him, and it just goes so bad. But that's the beauty of that movie, and that's why I respect it so much. There's underlying.
So that was based on Johnny Holmes.
Yes, that was that whole movie's based on
Johnny Holmes was obviously a big male porn star.
Big is an understatement. I'll tell you that much. Right now.
Huge.
He used to work with Seika a lot.
Oh yeah, Seika.
I met Seika a few years ago. I got a picture of Seika.
She's still hot for an older chick.
Well, I don't know about so much anymore. Have you seen her lately?
No.
She looks like she should be working at some Polish bakery.
Well, she's like 80 years. She's like got to be in her
I
80s.
don't think she's 80.
Nice
She's gotta be close
sourdough.
to it.
Yeah, she looks like an older Polish woman. Like she should be like.
Wasn't that who she is? Or she's
people are
like
into that.
Swedish or something? And she's like,
I don't know.
I don't think she's American. I don't know. She had nice
I know
tits though.
She was made those Swedish erotica films, those 8mm loops.
Yeah. And like John Holmes had like a fucking baby's arm for a dick.
Yeah.
And he would just plow people, and like
Yeah.
that was like her. That was like the porn to watch was like him and Seika. That was like they were like
His dick was so big. It was like I swear it affected the tides.
yeah. It looked,
It's the moon.
No, I'm not
It's the
even
fucking
like,
moon.
It looked like ridiculous, like because. You know it's not fake, you know,
yeah.
and that's a fetish now. Guys having fake dicks and like on camera now, like gigantically fake ones, like OG Mudbone, you know that guy.
And they spit
So
out
in
just
porno films today, there guys are wearing
coconut oil.
or wearing like prosthetic.
There's it's not every day. There's guys that still have huge cocks and that shit. But like I'm just saying, like there's guys like this guy named OG Mudbone who has clearly a fake dick and it like shoots out this incredible amount of cum. Like these chicks look like they just got like everything in their face just full of it. I think it's like some kind of cream mixture. It looks fucking weird. It's weird as fuck.
With the vampire orgy, did you ever get like offered to direct any like porn films or anything like that?
Yeah, the real questions that matter.
No. I
Some scary.
I came up with an idea, and I kind of approached my friend Steve with it. He's like, I don't think we should do that.
Steve was like, think
Sex
about
sells.
Sunday school, man.
Well, I was thinking about this. I go, why don't we start up something where we have a video company, and people will request us to film them and their partner having sex. And when we shoot it, we make it real nice, do like soft lens focus, great lighting, you choose the music. We'll do it anyway and make it like a really professional.
What are we charging?
I didn't get that. I'm like thinking you can make your own personalized porn.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not a thing.
I don't know. And I was kicking that around, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And I guess there's a lot of things you got to go through on something like that. Like,
There's probably some hoops.
like obscenity laws or whatever you have to go through. I don't know. It was an idea, but I don't know.
That's I mean,
was gonna say,
honestly,
nowadays-
that's a brilliant idea. Dude.
Nowadays, that shit would kill because
Yeah,
only.
you set up an
Well,
appointment.
look at Sybaris. People literally go to a hotel to have crazy sex under a waterfall.
Right. But it's not. It's
Imagine
not
if you came,
documented.
but imagine if you came there to document it. How big that would be. I would be totally. I would fund that. I would let you film my wife and I fucking.
A couple, and then you come up and you set up like how we have here with the lights and all that kind of thing, and and then film, and then just
Are you dictating positions?
either or. I can direct.
Like we have a game plan.
Correct.
I think that'd
Or
be
you
interesting.
could
I want
have
the
that
the full porn experience. I think that would be a better selling
Make
point.
sure everyone showers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody's showering. But I'm saying that like that would be awesome. Make it. The gimmick is, hey, have you and your wife ever wanted to be in a porn? Now you can make your own and do it porn style. How they actually do it. With all the close-ups, all the positions that I don't like jerking off to, but maybe someone else does.
Yeah.
The ones like this ass and male balls. I don't like that. But I'm just saying, if you market it like that, it will. That shit kind of shit's the stuff that saves like marriages. Like people,
I think
people
it'd be
that.
cool. Like a couple. Hey, what do you think? We should do this. Let's make a movie.
I'm
about it."
telling you that you would be surprised how many people would grab at that, especially older people like in their 30s, 40s.
Nowadays, man, I think it would be a fucking killer.
How long ago did you come up with this idea?
What's that?
How long ago did you come up with this idea?
About a year ago.
I'm telling you right now.
man.
I'm telling you right now. What you need to do, even though you probably already have a notary because you have
Patent it.
connections. Yes. What you should do,
Is that
right?
the idea?
Do it. Even if you're not sure about it right now.
Yeah.
It's already patented right now because you're talking about it.
Yeah.
Secondly, what you need to do is write it down on a piece of paper, the whole idea, everything out, send it to yourself, and then don't open it because it's notarized and
Yeah,
dated.
'cause the
It's called a hobo's contract.
Postage. Yeah.
Yep. So if you do that and someone tries to steal it, you sue them. James Baacks, a millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Boom,
I'm
dude.
telling you right now,
It's a
dude.
win-win.
I'm telling you, man, that is a great idea. I'm surprised that is not a thing yet.
Yeah.
I really am. blown away
I've
by it.
never heard of it, and I was just thinking about.
What would you call it? Production company. It has to be a new production company.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put it under Great Lakes Artist Group. I
No.
wouldn't do that.
We'd switch the
And then
name.
no, then you just slowly transition into porn. I'm telling you, the more people that there's gonna be a situation where if you did that and got successful and got word around, porn stars that do like OnlyFans would want like, because the thing is that if you let's say you're an OnlyFans person, there's a big thing now where these OnlyFans chicks are fucking their fans. They'll just do like a
Really?
yeah, dude. Like one chick that I particularly like, she had like her first fan. She found out like the first guy that ever subscribed to her on Pornhub. She ended up banging him at a hotel and let him film it and everything like that.
Wow.
Now imagine if these people had could contract you would probably be a lot less expensive than going towards Brazzers or something like that, where you have a guy who pays you guys to film him fucking a porn star, or maybe a girl fucking a guy porn star.
I had never heard of this. So my son,
I'm a deviant. That's why.
my son introduced me to ASMR girls on YouTube.
Oh, I love ASMR. I watch that show all the time.
Oh, there's two I love. One of them is Valeria,
Mm-hmm.
a Russian girl. Have you seen her?
Maybe.
She's amazing. And there's another one called ASMR Mamie. She's this redheaded girl. And then, wow, these are really cool. You get to watch them, chew bubble gum or,
It's the sounds
make like they're brushing your hair. Then I thought to myself, any girl who is going to do this type of video probably has got some other ones. So I just typed in ASMR Mamie and I hit XXX enter. Jing, 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 jing,
Yeah, she
jing,
probably has an OnlyFans because all those.
tons
All of them.
of her. I'm like, whoa, that's the girl I like on YouTube. She's bad. She's a bad girl.
But I'm telling
I wish
you.
I would have known you back when I was like 22. I would have been like, let's get in on it, man.
No, I'm serious, man. Like that is this. Unfortunately, in the years we live in, sex sells, and I'm telling you, if you shaped your company in that aspect, I'm telling you, you would get people because it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's something that because no one needs to go fucking someplace to have sex.
Right.
You can make your house nice and have sex.
Yeah.
But people still go to Sybaris. They're still hot and they're still doing very well for themselves. You could film a fucking a porno at your house, but it's gonna be weird if you got a camera like that and it's you. You got to get up, change angles. It's
You know
not
what?
sexy.
No, how about this? You put a green screen in back and you have them fucking on the moon or the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's
Or
a
like
hassle
in
to do it by yourself.
in a
Why not you do it for them?
volcano with fucking lava.
on a mountain with a fucking wizard, man.
Yeah.
And a dragon,
You
bro.
could make a real
Dinosaurs.
And if you want to take it for me, you could make it like a porno where like you're like I'm saving the princess with my cock, like like something like that. Like there's so many avenues that you could do with this. I'm surprised you're still here talking about this and not out there doing it right now, finding people. You got bitches to take their tits out for $50. I imagine what you could do with 100.
And it wasn't $50 each. It was $50 flat.
Split it. Split it
buy
up.
him some beer and some pizza. What the fuck?
No, we just shot the shit and got out of there.
That is so funny, dude.
In and out quick, man.
No, like so top-notch tits though. Were they like fake tits or were they like real
No,
tits?
they're very real.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not saying fake. I'm saying like the Silicon Valley.
Oh, I didn't ask.
But you could tell.
Yeah, they look real.
Okay. Were they older or
look
younger
real.
chicks? Were they younger
Yeah.
chicks?
And the one girl rubs fake blood on it and licks the blood off of her nipples and stuff. I'm like, fuck yeah. You figure this isn't bad for $50.
Yeah.
You know?
They're $100 in a
know
case
why
of
the
beer.
fuck-
You got a whole fucking.
Well, I took it home and I showed it to my wife. And my wife,
you got
my
a very
wife's
understanding wife.
Like, no, my wife's like, how did you get them to do this? I'm like, hey, $50 is $50. Shit.
Well, 25.
You know what's funny is that reminds me of Wet T-Shirt Night by Frank Zappa.
Oh yeah.
Here's your $50.
Yeah. Here's your $50,
Is wild.
Mary. Yeah, dude.
How'd you end up getting into just filmmaking
Yes,
and all that,
that's a
directing?
fucking-
And all
All right, this is what happened. It's a weird story. I like to do paintings, oil paintings, illustrations, and stuff like that. And I used to draw a bunch of Bigfoot pictures. In fact, a few of my Bigfoot pictures made it into a Bigfoot book. Anyway, I did this painting of Bigfoot.
You made fake ones? Okay.
Well, I
As
sent
opposed to the real ones.
I sent it to my brother, this picture of Bigfoot I did, and then hey, what do you think? So he sends it back to me as a joke, and he made a fake movie poster, and it said, Walt Disney Pictures presents Bigfoot's Bloody Escape or something like that. And I'm looking like, well, fuck, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So once you do this, make it an actual movie poster. Have it directed by James Baack, call it The Bloody Rage of Bigfoot, and make it look like an actual movie poster. So he does that. He sends it back. I'm looking at it. I'm like, fuck, that looks cool. So I posted it on Facebook first, and then I posted it on a few of those horror Facebook pages, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm getting these private messages of people, are you making this film? Well, one night I was at home, and I had a few King Cobra 40s.
Nice.
Jeez, I would never guess.
Were you a black guy on the south side? Did you get into your Mercury Sable afterwards?
I would think he is like a Scotch guy. He's
Yeah.
like, I had some King
Scotch with a
Cobras.
cigar.
man.
No, I had my two 40s of King Cobra, and don't knock King Cobra.
No.
It's bad.
were Mickey's
but
guys.
after the first swig, your mouth goes numb, so then it goes down real easy.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm drinking my 40s. This guy sends me a private message. He goes, "Are you making this Bigfoot movie?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah! This is going to be in 3D. We're going to show it at drive-ins, and we're going to have these hoses are going to shoot fake blood at the audience like a Gwar concert during every scene where there's a killing." He's like, "Dude, this sounds so awesome!" All of a sudden, this poster that I got is appearing on all these horror websites
Oh my God.
Like
about
oh,
a
shit.
new Bigfoot film coming into production.
You were lying the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Fuck.
And then it started appearing in websites from other countries. There was this Russian website, and I asked this woman who spoke Russian, I go, "What does it say?" She's like, "Film about Yeti being released." I'm like, "Oh my God, this is in other countries." So this other guy sends me a thing for an interview about this. And I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing this." I call my friend Steve. I'm like, "Dude, I need help." Because we need to make a movie, like now. We need to make this movie. So he's like, "All right." So I wrote down an idea for a storyline, and I thought it was pretty good. And I go, "Well, let's find some actors, and let's do it." And we went out and we shot the film. And it took making a long story short, because it took a long time to shoot it and edit and stuff. So once it was done, we looked at it, and I'm like, "I think this came out pretty good." And I go, "What I'm going to do is, first I'm going to copyright it." So I sent it over to the copyright office in Washington, D.C., and they copyrighted it. And then I sent out 3 copies to 3 distribution companies. Troma Films, another one called Midnight something, and Trionic Entertainment. I get an email from Trionic saying we want to release this film, and he goes, this is what they gave me the numbers how this would work, and do you agree? And we'll send you over some contracts, fill out the contracts, send them back to us, and we'll move forward with this. And I'm like, whoa! I can't believe I got a distro deal on this thing.
All from a
All
painting,
fucking
man.
all from like life forcing you to send. Like life forced you to fucking make this movie.
And then it's funny because I've doing this, I've met a lot of other people in this genre making independent films, and they go, oh man, good for you, got a distro deal. How many copies did you send out? I go 3. He's like, what the fuck? He goes, I sent out about 200 copies and not a word back from anybody. And I go,
There's a reason.
Should have done
you know what the
Bigfoot.
reason is? The title.
Bigfoot, bro.
The Bloody Rage of Bigfoot, people immediately would hear, and that sounds cool. These other people are releasing, this one guy made a horror film called Red Wires. Who the fuck is going to go watch Red Wire? I don't know anything about that. But The Bloody Rage of Bigfoot, Dracula's Orgy of...
That thing, like, if you're going for that kind of stuff, you're going to listen to that kind of title before fucking Red Wires.
Right, exactly.
No creativity.
And I said I kind of want to model these after 70s exploitation.
Well, and it's like people don't realize that sometimes, like, everything, you don't have to be so artsy-fartsy with something. Just fucking call it something cool and make it work.
I would love to make a black exploitation movie.
Blaxploitation movie?
I already have a great title.
What?
Mama Voodoo and the Hotbed of Sexy Chocolate.
Boom, dude.
Dude, we need to find some people right now to do this movie. I'm telling you, if you find
I'll
some
do
cool...
blackface, man. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to do that.
No,
I don't want to have to write
Put a pair of tits on me.
I
and
don't
we'll
want
get
to have
rocking.
to write a public apology. I want to do a Hicksploitation, because in the 70s,
because they could do it, like the Deliverance and shit had a big hick thing. But then you also had...
there's Six Pack Annie.
yeah.
That was a Hicksploitation.
Well, hold on. The real question is then, did you have the drive-in theater with the blood spurting out at each kill?
Yeah.
I didn't follow up on. I never delivered
guy
on
was
any of
probably
that.
pissed.
They should just be happy that you made the fucking film. You know what I mean? Like you basically bullshitted that entire thing, and look what happened.
And
That's crazy.
But yeah, the Mama Voodoo and the Hotbed of Sexy Chocolate. Then I was
What's the
also
premise?
thinking of Catholic school, Catholic cheerleader. What was it? Catholic cheerleaders in heat. Catholic school cheerleaders in heat.
And you're just gonna fuck black guys the whole time?
No. This is a separate movie, but
Oh, I thought we were.
I don't want to do.
I thought we were doing the blaxploitation thing still. Sorry.
Well, no, if I make I don't want to have to answer to that.
The sexy chocolate thing. I think it's.
Mama Voodoo and the Hotbed of Sexy Chocolate.
So what happens?
I don't know, but I love that.
He's got the
Do
title.
you build when you make movies? Do you
Sky's
build on the
the limit
title, or
right
do you
now,
make the movie first then title?
I'll have an idea and I'll have a working title, but I'm not changing that.
That's amazing.
That's golden.
All right, so we asked Ralph the same question, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. You can even give me like a right now, maybe not of all time, but what are your favorite 3 top horror movies?
Alien,
Okay, he said the same thing.
Hey, all
my number
right.
1. Alien is not only my favorite horror film; it's my favorite film of all time.
Makes sense.
Alien,
Stanley Kubrick's great,
yeah.
and then Hans Geiger's art in that movie is just parallel.
H.R. Giger.
Yeah,
Stanley Kubrick didn't direct Alien.
who's it?
It was Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. Sorry, I always get those guys confused. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah. Alien, then probably it could end up second might be The Howling.
The Howling's a good one, man. It's like the bastard cousin of American Werewolf in London. It's way more raunchier. The scene where he changes.
I thought it's just got a great story to it.
Well, I like how they have the guys a serial killer, and they can't like figure out like what he's doing, and then he gets killed by because of the cops because
Right.
the reporter's trying to meet him. He was gonna kill her pretty much.
I like how it was a group of people called the Colony. It was led by that almost
Doctor.
like a cult leader, and he knew. And I thought that was interesting.
The chain scene where he corners the chick and you see his hand.
yeah.
That chain scene's crazy. They used some of this. I think that movie Werewolf London came out first, and then Howling came out, and I think they used the same people, somewhat, or the same kind of like.
I'm not sure.
The transformation scene in that movie is a lot different than the one in in American Wolf in London.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, American Wolf in London, if you started changing like that in front of me, I got probably about 15 minutes to leave. You know, I could probably sit there and watch half of it and then go leave. You know what
Actually, The Howling I think came first, and I think that was the first werewolf movie to show an actual transformation.
That wasn't like
Opposed-
the Lon Chaney Jr. one where he's just like they
Yeah,
pan him, pan away.
Hey, it was 1940. You know?
Yeah, well, they're fucking. I hear he hated that shit. It took hours for them to do the makeup. He's in the makeup for days. They would make him sleep with the makeup on because it was such a hassle to put it back on.
Oh,
Can you imagine that? All that hair was individually glued onto him.
I also really like. I'm not a huge fan of John Carpenter, but I do like The Thing.
Hey.
Hey, man, we're all on the same page.
Yeah, the thing. So for me, it was The Thing. In no particular order. The Exorcist, The Thing, and then Jaws. Jaws mainly because I grew up in Florida and I was by the ocean and I didn't know about sharks. I thought all sharks were the same, so they're all fucking in the ocean together. So that shit go in the water 3 feet out. I'm like, that kid in the raft in the first one died in 4 or 5 feet out.
My son and I were in Florida 2 years ago, and we were off this beach. It was not Boca Raton, another area. Anyway, he's in the water, and 4 fins are coming towards him. And I'm like, Andrew, get out. I don't think, it was definitely not great whites.
No.
They were smaller, probably hammerheads, which are,
Enough to kill you though.
but I heard they don't attack hammerheads.
No,
They-
well, a lot of these sharks don't really attack. It's more or less to test what the hell you are, and then that they like you. They don't like us. They like.
I think they were just passing through.
It depends too what they're eating as well. Like in Egypt, you see that that clip in Egypt. They were throwing goats in the ocean that they didn't need anymore. Basically, that were like it was like it's probably just meat they wouldn't use. So they threw them in the ocean. These sharks were eating them. Well, this kid was swimming in the ocean, and his dad. I mean, the dad watched the kid get mauled by sharks because they're feeding him goats. They're eating blood, man, and they just probably thought it was goats.
Yeah.
Sucks. So
you know,
fucked up, but-
brilliant dad.
You know what? I've always said this. If you go into the ocean, and the same thing is if you go into deep forest, you're just part of the food chain.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like go in the ocean's like going into a fucking safari with a box on your head. You don't know what the fuck's under you.
gotta
What's
know.
chilling, dude. Like that. That's what's the scariest fuck about the ocean is the unknowing. Like what is under me. There could be a giant eyeball under me right now, and it's far fetched. There's nonsense out there. I'm not going to entertain everything, but it just there is that weird feeling. Even when you're in a pool by yourself and you're a little kid. Like I lived in a lot of hotels as a kid, so there's a lot of pools. I'd be at night in the pool being like, "There's a shark in here," and it's like, "There's no way. There's fucking chlorine in the water. They're not breathing that, Zach. Like, come on." But you don't fucking know. You're a little kid. You're freaking out. But Jaws, The Thing, and then The Exorcist. The Exorcist was one of the first movies that made me like scared at night. Like I was sleeping with the lights on.
Well, you weren't the only one. The Exorcist was probably the ultimate commercial for the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah.
Because after that film came out,
like,
people were lining up.
I gotta pray.
lining up to go to church. It's a brilliant film.
Well, I talked about this in the last podcast. The reason why it's so brilliant is there's so many different things going on than just the possession. You have this lapsed Catholic priest who's kind of like getting kind of tired of being a father. He's also has a psychology degree, which is kind of weird. So he's trying to like tie theism to psychology, and it's becoming hard for him because his mom dies and he blames himself. You have this older pastor or father who's like been battling this demon, has battled him before, and now he's at this old age. And then you have this little girl who's estranged from her father. Then you have this actress who's kind of faltering in her career. She's trying to connect with her daughter more. There's just all these different avenues. And how did they do that in a horror movie just for it all to come around again? And like Ralph said, just for the ending, all it took was him beating the shit out of her. Then the fucking demon came out. After all that bullshit, they could have just smacked her around. It would have been,
It's just great writing and all the great characters. And it was just,
Oh, the scene where the scene that scared me the most is when she came down the stairs.
As a spider?
Yeah, I was like 5 years old.
It's always on all fours, man.
Yeah.
Whenever someone gets on all fours, you're like, what the
because
fuck
it's
is
not
that?
normal. Like you're not supposed to be like that. Why are you on all fours? Like that's the subconscious thing. Something's wrong here. Like there's, but yeah, the thing. Again, the underlying not knowing who's the thing. That's what gets me. Like it could be all be sitting in a room. You could be the thing. We could all be the thing and not even know that we're the thing. That's what
Have you seen a film called The Descent?
Yes.
I thought The Descent was awesome.
I brought that up too.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of my top because I saw it when I was a kid as well and
That-
scared the shit out of me.
It's like it's such a feeling of claustrophobia.
It makes you
Well,
scared.
don't
of the
fucking
dark.
go into a goddamn cave. First of all.
They're going up that cave, those small little holes. I'm like, I would never.
Claustrophobia and scared of the dark because you think these things, because those things were able to see in the dark. That motherfucker was just standing right behind her at one point. You're like, oh god.
No, I thought there was sound. I thought they couldn't see. There was sound they reacted to.
I guess I don't.
Whatever there was, they were definitely up to no good.
Oh yeah. I think it was when they bit in that guy's skull. It was the lady's skull. It was probably pretty bad.
Now, have you seen the Terrifier films?
Oh, I love all of them.
Fucking kid.
Me too.
I love all three of them
over
just
here, man.
because, again, it had it It's just it's nothing. It doesn't insist on itself. It doesn't. It's not anything more than it is. It's just a fucking crazy clown that kills people. Thank you.
I think there's more to it. I think the next one it's going to get real mythological.
Well, they said that he said this is the final one. Damien Leone said this is the final one, and it's going to answer everybody's questions.
I think that Art the Clown is like almost like a puppet controlled by something else to do this.
Well, they kind of set. Did you see the third one?
Oh yeah, twice.
They kind of set it
3
for
times.
that. They said they set that up kind of with like him possessing the woman.
Right.
You actually get to hear a voice of him because he speaks through her. He basically says, I'm going to torture your fucking family just like I tortured this fucking bitch. He says that. Yeah. And so, I mean, I like that kind of aspect because you kind of now get before he was such an abstract character. Now you have a connection with him because you hear his voice and the way he thinks.
It had a very Evil Dead 2 type of ending.
Yes, very
where
much.
She's sucked into, I guess she's going.
And I don't think her brother's dead.
Oh, no way.
No.
No, he's not.
Her aunt and uncle, though, are definitely dead.
I think this would be cool if they did this with Terrifier 4. And they can use this as an ultimate marketing thing. Have it take place on 4th of July. Terrifier and then 4th of July for the poster. Have Art the Clown dressed as Uncle Sam with the top hat. And have him and Sienna fighting at the end, a duel with a massive firework display in the background.
I imagine what he could do with some fireworks or someone, too.
That could work.
If they were to do it during 4th of July.
The second one, I also love the ode to old horror in that movie. It's a small little thing where someone that in the movie that you really want to die fucking dies. And you're happy. Like in the second one, the mom, I want her to fucking die. She was such a cunt, and she never took anything her kids seriously. Her kid saying that he's seeing a murderous clown that killed a bunch of people a year prior. Right. Why aren't you investigating that? Like, oh, you're just crazy. And then she gets fucking destroyed with a shotgun.
The cool thing is about these movies is sadistic and horrifying are the murders. Art the Clown pulls them off is you can't help but laugh.
Yeah, I know, they're great.
I mean, when in the second one when he shot his mom with a shotgun, and then he has her sat at the table, he comes out wearing an apron.
Yeah, it's great.
He's wearing an apron.
Or when he the third one, the chick that is like the kind of like the fetishizer of like what happened to the family. She wants to have him on the podcast.
Oh, you mean in the shower?
Yeah, in the shower, and
he smells the guy's foot.
Yeah, but but the thing is, when that chick died, you were like, good, because she was kind of like exploiting like an absolutely horrible thing, and she was like very narcissistic about it. You were like, that was another chick, good, she died, and she died brutally. The dude died pretty bad too, though. He died at worse, I think, than her, because he was like trying to get away, and he slowly cut off parts of his body.
Well, I think. I'm looking forward to the 4th.
Same here. The third one was a good bridge movie.
I really love the ending scene of 3, where she pulls out that sword and they start dueling.
I gotta force myself to watch them then. I got
the third one.
So I've seen the first one. I saw half of the second one until it got to that chick in the room that he just peeled her skin off and all this shit, and I was like, I can't anymore, man. I can't do it, bro.
Paul and I were laughing in that movie.
I know there's a deeper, because I could agree with on that, because it seemed like there was a deeper meaning coming, because whenever I'd see different things of it, it was becoming mystical in a sense towards the end with her with the sword and all this shit.
Yeah, there's a bit. I think there's some kind of symbolism here that they'll
there's
bring
a deeper meaning to it, and I was like, maybe I can get into that. I just gotta fucking watch it now.
From what I saw, he's gonna discuss the girl in the second one, the little girl. They're going to discuss that. They're going to discuss where Art the Clown comes from. Again, I think it's going to go with what you were talking about, where he's manifested through some possession of something.
That's what I think.
He's not really the driving. There's a demon. He's not really the driving force. He's just like a conduit for it.
So that's what I
think so too. But we'll see. I mean, I like to say that's why I like these little universes. And what could they do through that? Could they make a movies about the girl? Is there? Again. The only thing is that sometimes it's good to just let something die. You don't want to end up being like Jaws 4.
Don't milk it. They got 3 solid ones. I'm confident if it's the same crew, and it sounds like he's already got something on the works. Do it, but don't continue.
You don't want to be in Freddy 8.
Halloween movies. How none of them make any sense anymore.
Well, they
Sharknado.
Yeah. The newer ones that came out, the new Halloweens that came out, where they just took off after the very, very first one.
Yeah.
Those were pretty good because they just put back the classic. Because they started doing this thing with Mike Myers where he's like a demon and all this shit. And it's like, dude, he's just a crazy guy with a knife. Why can't he just be that? There's nothing wrong with that. And he was just like, that's what they worked on this one. He was just brutal. He was just a really nice breath of fresh air. and an ode to old slasher flicks, which
That's-
don't happen anymore.
That's what I thought when I actually liked the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, but I think it would have been much more.
Well, this is different. This isn't Rob Zombie. You haven't seen the new one? They haven't seen the new
Oh,
Halloween?
yeah. I
Those
know.
aren't Rob Zombie.
Oh, I know. But Rob Zombie did do 2 Halloween movies.
Yes, he did.
And I like them, but I think it would have been much more interesting if it was not Michael Myers. Because I don't want to know about Michael Myers' background. I like it better where he's just an unknown guy, and that's all I need to know.
Because, again,
I
it's,
don't want it explained.
well, because again, it's like crazy guy with the knife. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about what he did in his life or what his parents
Right.
were like. I'm not here to do that. If you want to make a horror movie like that, do a movie about a serial killer. Then you can do that and tie that in.
Yeah, that's why I thought, because I do like those movies.
Well, they're good. I mean,
I thought it would have been more interesting if it was somebody else.
if you're a horror fan, you have to have a rather, you have to have a love for all genres of horror, even if they're the most goriest. And I can't say like some of these like Green Inferno. Couldn't stand the movie. I didn't want to see it. I don't want to watch people get eaten, and it's brutal. We watched that one scene with the fat guy. Like it's brutal.
Yeah.
I like movies with a little thought. Even like The Thing, even though it's very brutal in some aspects, there is a mental game in that movie that I absolutely love. You're in Antarctica. It's fucking
Mystery, man.
It's negative 60 degrees out. You can't go anywhere, and people that are with you might be an alien. Fuck.
Yeah.
Alien. You're in deep space. Your people are dealing with something you have no idea what it is. All of a sudden, you see John Hurt with a thing flying out of your chest,
Yeah.
and that reaction's real. They had no idea
Oh, I
that was going
know.
to happen. That's brilliant.
I know.
Brilliant fucking directing. And then you have that underlying feeling of like it could kill me at any moment. It could be in the wall. It could be right next to me.
That Alien was originally, they were looking to release that, and they were looking for a studio. They were almost going to have Roger Corman do it. Remember Roger Corman? Roger Corman was a producer and director of a lot of super low-budget, cheesy monster movies that came out in the 60s. And they were going to have him. They were going to call it Star Beast.
I'm happy they picked.
Oh, no, because to me, Alien, the film, is just a masterpiece. It's just
Just the title is, again, everything it needs to be. Alien.
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Star
Not
Beast.
overcomplicated, man.
You.
Fucking.
Star Beast sounds like a bad 80s metal band that Dio was in.
Yeah.
Star Beast!
It kills
You
me. man.
winged witches.
All right, man. Well, listen, I feel like we've been only talking for 20 minutes, but it's been just about hour 40, almost.
wow.
Yeah,
Christ.
2 hours, man. We're gonna wrap it up here. We gotta have you back on because we gotta bring Ralph in with you as well because I think that shit.
I'd love to come back. This has been really cool.
That would be awesome, man.
Yeah,
we're
Ralph
gonna
has,
have-
he does short film
Yeah,
horror
yeah,
movies.
Yep. Yeah, when you were upstairs, I was talking about asking if he went to horror film festivals and stuff like that, man. So, yeah, we're going to have you back on, man, because, like I said, I feel like we've been talking for 20 minutes. I'm looking at here. I'm like, God damn it, bro. Like, son of a bitch, man. So,
Perfect.
hey, thank you for coming on, for real, man.
My pleasure.
It
Yeah.
was
Really
awesome.
cool.
It was awesome. And I know you got more stories, and I feel like we could be here forever, man. So, yeah, we're going to have you back on, and, yeah, man, absolutely.
Oh, yeah?
You got anything else to say?
No, man, just, never forget to wet your whistle.
Well, don't forget to wet your whistle, man. Anything for you? Anything you want to promote or anything at the moment? I know I'll plug
working on
in.
the new one. Like I said, the current title is Carnage of the Night Creature. Hope to start. I have shot a few scenes thus far, but gotta get to work on that. But
Yeah.
anybody out there who watches my movies, and I know Werewolf has been pretty popular. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy my other work.
Absolutely. I'll post it up there.
Yeah.
Most of it is on Tubi.
There's a lot of my stuff on Tubi, but Dracula's Orgy of the Dam is not.
Okay.
You can find Dracula's Orgy of the Dam if you go to CheezyFilms.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try and post links and all that stuff on there, man. Yeah, I'll get it.
Kinda wanna see the
watch
tits.
it. I'm gonna
You
have
will.
You will.
I'm gonna have to watch it, man. All right, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out Mr. Box Films, man. I know they're gonna be fucking wild.
Hell yeah, baby.
Okay. Hey, until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
I'm mainly known for the rough raps, but kids steal my lyrics like hubcaps and eat them like stacks of flapjacks like rugrats. Hey,